Hello Cancer friends, my name is Annie Botticelli and I am going to give you a very in-depth report of how you are likely to see this January 10th, 2020 full moon lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer manifest for you. Eclipses as an astrological event are very powerful and they can invoke massive change, sometimes suddenly. Sometimes it's stuff that we've been trying and working for and it actually can gel at this time, or sometimes we're working on something and the eclipse comes and takes us in a whole different direction. We can feel like we're waking up to, coming out of a portal into a whole different experience. They can be very shockingly dramatic for better and worse, and we do tend to see the manifestations of eclipses occur 4 to 6 or even more weeks before the actual cycle. This eclipse cycle started in December. I go into lots of detail about how the December eclipse will affect you in my November reports for your sign. But I'm doing a special separate report for this January eclipse. So the eclipse cycle for Cancer Capricorn started between 2018 and 2020. So that means that all along this period of time, these eclipses, as they come, they bring things out of the backdrop and then up in the forefront. And then when the eclipse season kind of dies down, they kind of go down and then they come up again. So even, October, November, we're likely to see eclipse news coming in. The December eclipse will likely start bringing news in October. The January eclipse will likely start bringing major news in November, but things can happen at any time. That's why I post these things early so that you understand what kind of changes and jaw-dropping surprises are likely in store for you. Many people may just observe in the backdrop as other people go through massive changes, but if you look more closely in these areas that I'm going to show you, you'll see that sometimes profound change is happening in the inner realms, and it's not yet manifest in the outer realms. So it might seem like you're holding space for other people as they go through changes, but if you look closely, you might see that you're also going through change as well. Okay, so I have lots of things to help you with your astrological understandings. If you go to anniehelpsyou.com, you can, if you love how I teach and you want to learn, you can check out my astrology apprenticeship program. You can sign up for my free email newsletter, get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free, and get a write-up of the astrological aspects a month early and what you can expect and what dates they are delivered to your inbox a month early. You can see lots of blogs on astrology with details that I'm known for. You can go to, so that's all at anniehelpsyou.com. You can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. Check out my healthy lifestyle blogs on multiple topics and my written horoscopes 1 month early for you for your sign, including great reads for each sign based on where the sun is moving through your chart. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that some time ago I started adding visuals because I'm an astrology teacher and I love to show you why things may happen, not just what may happen. Now I can take this up another level because I finally figured out how to do a split screen manifestation here, a split screen demonstration here, where I'm on one side and things I'm drawing are on the other side. So this is my first attempt at that. Hopefully it will go smoothly. In order to best use the information I'm about to give you, you want to know where in the Cancer spectrum you are. Early degree Cancers are basically our June born or 0 to 9 degrees. Middle, around July 1st through 10th or 10 to 19 degrees. Late, around July 11th through the rest of the sign or 20 to 29 degrees. If you have a Cancer moon or Cancer sun or Cancer rising, this report is for you equally. And I always recommend that you watch the reports at least for your rising and your sun because they give you different pictures or different windows, like this RV window, I'm traveling still, and that RV window show 2 different views, but they're both more of the total picture. And you add the moon view over there. This is more of a total picture of what it's like to be in here at this time, what's going on out those windows. And that's how these reports are. So you get more information when you go into more detail that way. So in general, this is a really big time for Cancers because of course this Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle is still in your sign. So you of all of the zodiac, along with the Capricorns, have been, and really even Aries and Libra to some degree because of the angles that have been cast, but you are experiencing this major change cycle between 2018 and 2020 because the eclipses are in your sign and in the sign opposing your sign. All right, so all zodiac members will experience the potential of 4th house Cancer eclipse manifestation. So I'm going to go into detail of what that means. All Cancer placements will have the chance for 1st house manifestations, and I will give you a ton more detail of like what that means, but I have to lay the groundwork here. Middle and late degree placements. So basically, again, this is, July born or 10 to 19 degrees. You may also see 12th house manifestations. And if you have your Cancer placements between 15 and 25 degrees, this is going to affect you most profoundly. And the closer you get to 20 degrees, the more profound the hit. So basically, this is like July 5th through July 15th, and then with around July 10th being the most profound, the closer you are to July 10th, but, anywhere from July 5th through 15th is really, the people who will have these most effects, but it's definitely going to have effects for everybody. So I'm going to show you a very quick visual as to why middle and late degree placements may see this in the 12th house and not early degree, and why this is different. If we're looking at a whole house astrology chart, we would just be talking about all Cancer people having the potential for this eclipse to manifest in the first house. Okay, but if you drill down and look at a Placidus chart, and that's true, that's one piece of truth. When you look at the Placidus chart, you can see, okay, so here 20 degrees of Cancer will be very clearly in the first house for early degree. Don't be thrown off that I'm using a December chart. We're not looking at planets in movement. We're looking at a static placement. So it doesn't matter what month we're looking at. Okay, this is for the eclipse on January 10th, 2020. Now, when we move over here to look at the middle degree chart, 20 degrees is still going to be in the first house for most of you, but it's very close to that line. You late middle degree people could get this nudgy over to the 12th house. And either way, it's right on the line here, right? So as we go into the late degree placement, 20 degrees for you may actually be in the 12th house. So if you're later in the sign, this eclipse may not occur in the first house for you at all. It may be in the 12th house. But for you, it's still close enough to the first house. That's why I say all early, middle, and late have first house potentials, but just the middle and late have that 12th house potential. All right, so now we can see why that's different. Now we'll just bring this back over. Okay, so now I'm going to drop in a tutorial for what it looks like based on doing thousands of live readings and all of these, this work I've done over decades, what I've seen exactly like practical manifestations of this placement. Eclipse in the first house, I'll do a tutorial on that. Then I'm going to drop in a tutorial on the 4th house manifestations because every sign has that potential, but you do too. So we have to see what that's going to look like. If you're a middle to late degree placement, so again, basically July born, or 10 to 19 degrees, I'm going to drop in the 12th house tutorial about how I've seen eclipses manifest in the 12th house. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for that, you middle, late friends, because there are some major things you need to know about there, and those are in addition to the other pieces. Okay, so eclipses bring major news, major trajectory shifts, things coming to light that were hidden, things coming to fruition that had been in process. They can bring surprises, or they can bring accomplishments in the direction of things that were planned. When there are eclipses in the first house or in Aries, these are the areas that we tend to see focus and the ways that they can tend to manifest. Okay, so the first house in Aries rules the physical body. So we can see drastic changes in weight, major weight loss, major weight gain. That can include muscle gain, body, physical, structural changes. This can also include things having to do with wellness. So massive physical or physiological healing, an alignment, a breakthrough, something where you've been working on it, or it comes as a symptom with a problem and then it comes to a resolution. There are sometimes health crises that can come from an eclipse. So if something's been undercover, whether you've known about it or not, if it's sort of been rolling around, it could come out in a big way. Or if it's something you've been working with, it can have a next major step. So sometimes a major illness comes at this time. Changes in your image, so your self-esteem, breakthroughs with your self-esteem, healing things that happened in the past that made you feel certain ways about yourself. So anything having to do with your image, your self-image, and this can also have to do with, of course, it's hard to separate psychological pieces that have to do with physical or physiological outcomes. Sometimes a major change to the physical body, like a pregnancy or something, any kind of change to the physical body is common during an eclipse in the first house or Aries. Also, recognition is another topic that I see come up a lot with an eclipse in first house or Aries. So again, like you get thrown out into the limelight, something where all eyes are on you. And this could be for better or worse. This could be scandalous, or something comes out that was maybe not intended to, or a misunderstanding, or something, where your name or your image gets put out in a bigger way. And this can be for better or worse. But I do definitely see a lot of things that people have been working on come to light in this time, where all eyes are on you because you have moved forward with something, because you've owned your awesomeness, because you are ready to be seen or cleared out vows to not be seen. So working on being seen and being recognized. Physical appearance comes up a lot at eclipse time, where radical changes to the appearance can come up. And sometimes an eclipse is a perfect time to make a radical change to wardrobe or to physical appearance. I always say, listen carefully to the horoscope of the time, because if an eclipse occurs during a personal planet retrograde, sometimes it's better to hold off on some of those changes if they're big permanent ones. But I usually speak to this in the more detailed general horoscope. But in general, major changes to appearance and also changes to identification. So how you identify, whether that's from a gender perspective, whether that's from a professional perspective. I see a lot of people owning what they came to do. So like, for instance, in the past, people knew me as a person who had a real estate business. And at another time, people knew me as a person who was a pharmaceutical rep in a corporate job. So I identified with how people would, see me, and that often is based on our vocation. Then as I started to own that I'm an astrologer and a spiritual teacher and all of these things that I do now, I identified with a different aspect of my potential that started to come out more as my main presentation. So I see at eclipse time, many people will start to look at how they're being perceived and see if that's in resonance with their heart, with what they really see themselves as, and making changes along the path to come into more integrity with how they really see themselves and how they're putting themselves out to be seen, which a lot of times is related to vocation, but again, it doesn't necessarily have to be. Some general tips for this time are to stay well rested, pay attention to your physical body, like symptoms, anything like that. Make vision boards about how you'd like to present yourself, and, including wardrobe or hair or, what you see yourself as, essences of what you want to embody more of, a plan to get to that, vision, having support for any of the problems that could be happening. So sometimes seeking help outside of yourself can be a major part of being able to step into this different first house Aries eclipse chapter. Okay, so eclipses tend to bring changes in trajectory, new opportunities, coming to fruition of things in process, surprises, drama, bright openings, notable things in the forefront of home and family, and some other headers. So we're going to look at some common ways that I have seen the fourth house or Cancer eclipses manifest. Home and housing. So many people will move during an eclipse cycle where there's a fourth house or Cancer eclipse, moving to a new place. Some people, this will include like a bilocation or a multiple location. Like if you have a house already, you can set up a second residence or a different residence in addition to the one you already have. For some people, it manifests as just a complete clean, different move. Sometimes it's a temporary move or a temporary change in housing. This energy very much can rule sales, or sales or purchases of homes, getting a home ready for sale, purchasing a new home. Even though eclipse time very often brings these into the forefront, definitely always pay attention to the other information I give for the horoscopes at that time to understand how other transits that can be occurring at the same time as the eclipse season can interfere or enable contractual arrangements and big steps. Very often, a fourth house eclipse will have to do with the changing of occupancy within your home. So let's say you're there and you stay there and the house is the same, but someone moves out or someone moves in. Or you start using your home for home-based business. The starting of a home-based business is very common. At bringing on, an Airbnb or any other home-based business where you're working online. Making repairs or making additions or changes to the home. And again, with these kind of things, definitely pay attention to the other aspects at the time because, minor repairs can be fine at any time, but if you're going to do major additions, there are other astrological factors that I always speak to in the horoscopes that can be relevant. But I do see these eclipses tend to bring movement along these fronts with things like this. Changes in or notable things going on in family, and that's your family that you live with or your family that you came from. Drama, solutions, healings, people getting married, so there's new entrances to the family, people having separations, new children coming into the family. I see a focus on ancestry and genealogy come up very often in this. You might find out you have a relative that is notable. You might connect with someone in your genealogy. You may become really interested in tracking your ancestry or genealogy. Or someone may contact you. Childhood psychology is another thing I see come up. There are rhythms at play in our lives, and and things tend to be cyclical. So the things that you're experiencing now, a lot of the ways that you feel right now, you felt as a child, and that had to do with childhood imprinting and many other factors. But the relationship between what you're experiencing now and what happened as a child, and possibly even prior to, if you believe in past lives or if you believe in genetic memory manifesting as our experience. So, attention to what's happening now as it relates to the past and doing inner work to help stop the cycles for yourself and your family. So that I see that often come up with the fourth house eclipses or Cancer eclipses. So in general, with the fourth house or Cancer eclipse, be prepared to focus on your inner world or the things closest to you, like home level, family level, history, and your emotional or inner space. Eclipse time is a time for drama, a time for accomplishment, a time for excitement, and things coming to fruition in a big way, surprise changes, or movement along a path as expected. When there are eclipses in the 12th house or Pisces, they tend to bring even more emotion. All eclipses bring emotion because the moon is involved and the moon rules our inner realm. So eclipse time tends to be pretty emotional. Most of the time, there's some way, if you look hard enough, where you can see the eclipse energies working in your life. Some of the manifestations are more subtle and they're working on the inner layers. So they might be a little bit harder to track and see in a tangible way. And that could be especially true for a Pisces or 12th house manifestation. Also, depending on the mathematical connection between the actual degree of the eclipse and your personal placements, could make the difference in whether or not this is an eclipse or an eclipse cycle that really is bringing the biggest changes for you, or if you're just holding space or watching other people to go through things. Sometimes if you're not having the eclipse hit you in a very notable way, then you're holding space for other people as they go through changes. But it is definitely important to understand the nature of the eclipse in the certain placements, because a lot of times there are subtle workings maneuvering around in the backdrop away from our general consciousness or awareness, that if you knew it was going on, you could work with it more closely. And definitely in general, high emotion for all eclipses, especially for water energies, especially the 12th house in Pisces. And the emotion can be for better or worse. So something that tends to be highlighted more at eclipse time in the 12th house or Pisces is dream time. Issues with sleep, resolutions for sleep issues, notable dreams, dream activity, starting to step into different ways of working with your dreams, either just naturally it happening or you purposely using it this way, like lucid dreaming or dream journaling to help you recall and make sense and most use the energy of your dreams. And the dream energy is very much related to the subconscious mind. So harnessing and having a greater level of mastery over your subconscious mind is one of the goals of this eclipse cycle. And sometimes that comes through mental instability, showing you where you really have places in there to master. Some of it comes through spiritual breakthrough. Fears and addictions tend to come into the forefront in a big way. I always call this 12th house, or the energy of Pisces, the Harry Potter energy. So where he's got these fears, and they manifest, they seem like really big ways outside of him. But really it's his own inner journey. It's his own inner battle. And so the battles that we have internally tend to be highlighted in this 12th house. It's very much like an attic where there are resources, inner riches that are there to be cultivated and to be mined. And there are also fears and dirt and, things to be wiped and cleared and organized and set straight in order to make the most of that space. So this eclipse time might be a time where you have to face a fear, but that's also the time where you can get through the fear. And if there's an addiction involved, that may come into the forefront. Healing of your mind through psychology, hypnosis, neurofeedback, or other help from other practitioners is a very major theme that tends to come up at this time. So if you tend to have some instability in that place, you don't have to bring fear into the situation of worrying what's going to happen. You can be proactive, get your team together, know that you may have more activity in that realm, and take a more active role through diet. Diet can very much affect the psyche. Sugar levels can affect the psyche. And imbalances, chemical imbalances can also. So educating yourself on these topics could be a manifestation of the eclipse, or having breakthroughs. The taking of a retreat or sacred space, going on a retreat, is an amazing way this energy can manifest. Claiming of your sacred space. All people are sentient beings, which means that we're feeling our way through life. When our fields interact with other people's fields, sometimes it's hard to differentiate what we've got going on from what other people have going on. So really owning your sacred space, making a breakthrough, making a commitment during this time, and having the impetus to do that is one of the major manifestations. So taking space within your home, where you claim it and you own that space energetically. Clearing out your energy field, making, standing on the earth with bare feet is one way that I do it. Epsom salts or sea salt baths. You can use essential oils. You can use meditation. You can use prayer. Whatever it is that helps you to clear out that auric field around you. We all have an auric field around us. This isn't metaphysical anymore. Science is catching up with being able to sense these subtle fields. So imagining that auric field around you and imagining it accumulating with other people's energy and your own, and imagining it be cleared out and putting systems together to clear it out are all part of this eclipse cycle, because that affects your psychological and emotional state. So the more you can step into rhythms like this and practices that help you to use your subconscious space, including asking yourself, your subconscious, a question before you go to bed, and asking for answers in your dreams or when you wake up. So just working with that cosmic soup and the Akashic records and just the place where there's all one, and getting insights from that place. So any inner work, the Presence Process by Michael Brown is one of my all-time favorite inner work resources. Also, EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique, is a very free, there are tons of free resources on it that you can use to master your subconscious mind more and to harness your unruly negative patterning and face your fears and addictions. Another way that this 12th house and Pisces energy can manifest is with artistic and creative expression. So just a time to be quiet, to have a new creative project, to have an old creative project come to fruition, to have changes with your creativity cycle, to have anything having to do with the space that you do your creative work or creating a space for your creative work, whether that's space like making the time or an actual space in your home. Those are all ways that I have seen, and these energies manifest, and how you can best use the energy at this time. On the topic of addictions, major breakthroughs or occurrences can happen along these fronts, and this is an amazing time to be able to actually face an addiction and to get help for it and to get freedom from it and to really crack the matrix of the patterning. But a lot of times that might need, first of all, some outside support, but also inner accountability and doing the work in order to clear it. I have seen many people have major spiritual insights, major connection from the spiritual realms, ethereal support, ethereal connection with people who've crossed over, major insights that can be life-changing occur in this cycle. I hope you feel very prepared now for eclipse season and understanding what kinds of changes may be ahead for you. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, to check out all of my astrology blogs and all of my other goodies there, including when you sign up for my free email newsletter, you will get a month early a written general transit report, including all of the notable aspects, the dates of the aspects, and what you can expect from each. And you'll also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter, besides other goodies there. If you want written horoscopes by me, go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, and all of the links that I give you are also in the notes underneath. If you just click more underneath the video, you'll see all the websites there. So at cozybysweetstarlight.com, I have lifestyle blogs for healthy living, and I also have written horoscopes, again, up 1 month early, so you can check out what else is going on for your sign 1 month early. If you'd like to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, then definitely check out my astrology apprenticeship program, also at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I hope you have a wonderful eclipse season. Definitely check out my horoscopes, my individual horoscopes for each sign for you on my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli YouTube. You can check out my monthly reports. I always have them up a month early. And definitely also check out the November report, because I do talk about the December eclipse and its manifestations in there. And those eclipse manifestations can echo out, January, February, even March beyond. So to have a good understanding about where the first eclipse hit, you can check out my November report where I go into lots of details about that for you. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.